work our way around. It has one new 12-volt battery on the front of the trailer. It has two 30-pound propane cylinders that are full except for what we use to service the trailer. Your auto regulators pointed towards this tank over here. That's the one I worked off of when I serviced the trailer. We have the valve open on it. It's going to be green inside the eye. As soon as this tank would happen to come empty, it's going to turn red inside the eye, indicating that the bottle it's pointed to is empty and it's having to pick up from the one on the opposite side. We did get a new jack on the front of the trailer. We have a hookup light for hooking up at nighttime and your up and down button for running the jack up or down. There is a new manual crank handle inside the front compartment that comes through the top plate here and will manually crank that jack up or down. For any reason, it won't work on its own. On your propane cover, has the two tabs underneath for a bungee cord to go underneath the metal rack to hold it in place. But it also has the quick release at the top so that you don't have to take the cover off every time that you want to turn the propane cylinders on or off. It does have the two LED lights on the front of the trailer. It has a switch in the door side front compartment. Little black switch turns it on. We're going to start down this side over here in the front compartment. On this side over here is the sewer cap for the back sewer. I'm going to put it on as soon as we get done with the show and tell. All your rest of your stuff's on the other side over there, but it is a pretty good compartment. It is all the way through, and it can be accessed up into the bed area from the inside. We have the balance jacks, front and back. Both of them have a manual way that you can crank them up or down on the off door side. For any reason they won't work off the switch on the opposite side, door side, that there is a manual way that they can be cranked up or down. I'll show you that handle when we get to the front compartment. On your first dump station, you have your black holding tank and your gray tank, which is the bathroom sink and shower water. The black is the sewer water. Terminates out this valve here in the front. Little black hole here will manually crank the slide room on the opposite side, in or out. For any reason it won't go on its own. It is a brass handle on the other side that is split on the end. Lug nuts on the trailer has been torqued at 100 foot-pounds. Tires are air to pressure, which is 65 pounds on the side of the tire cold. One more termination valve here in the back with two gray tanks. The gray tank towards the front is for the kitchen sink water only. The gray valve in the back is for your kitchen sink on the outside. And it has the cap that's in the front compartment. I'll have to put it on here in just a minute. Then we're going to come back to the hot water heater. The hot water heater works two ways. 110 and propane. The 110 switch is in the lower left-hand corner on the outside. Your gas switch is going to be on your monitor panel on the inside. You always want to make sure that you can pop the pop-off valve and have water coming out of it before you turn on electric or gas. Also has an anode rod down in the bottom for draining the hot water heater in between trips and for winterizing and de-winterizing purposes. An anode rod also draws all the water to it, eats up that rod instead of eating up the inside of the tank. Anytime the steel rod in the center is shown, it's time to replace it. Going to be two more valves on the back of the hot water heater. I'll have to show you that when we get to the inside. 30-amp power cord goes on, quarter of a turn, tighten up the gray knob. It's about 25 to 30 foot long. Does have a spare tire on the back. The tire will also lay down so you can access your freshwater tank fill or your city water connect. I would suggest putting a water regulator on either one of the connections before you turn water pressure onto them. That just cuts your water pressure down between 41 and 45 pounds of pressure. Keeps it from blowing the lines loose on the inside of the trailer. Outside of the furnace, it's going to suck cold air in the top, hot air out the bottom. I would suggest putting the mud dauber screen over the outside of the furnace for the simple fact that screen is less than 15 bucks. It's $145 an hour for every hour that we have to take the furnace out and clean the daubers out of it. You also have a park cable hookup and a satellite hookup at the back. The park cable hookup works for the cable that's at the park or on the antenna on top. Your bottom one's for satellite, and it just goes to the living room area. As we step around this side over here, we do have a switch for running the balancing jacks up and down. The little black hole right in front of that will manually crank the slide room on the opposite side of the trailer in or out. For any reason it won't work on its own. Outside kitchenette has an outside sink. 12-volt light above it. A 110 outlet that is also GFI protected by the outlet in the bathroom. You also have hot and cold running water to the outside sink and the outside refrigerator. The outside refrigerator is 110 only. It has the controls for it are in the upper right hand corner. And then the little black stripe holds it in place while you're going down the road so that the door doesn't come open. It does have one drawer here at the bottom for utensils. Has a sliding door from one side to the other to access in for the plumbing for the outside faucet and drain line. Go ahead, I'm going to turn that light off before we go too far. It does have pretty good sized cabinet space above us. 3 drawers up there. And it also has an outside quick disconnect line in the back for a propane grill or a fish fryer that works off the 2 propane cylinders on the front of the trailer. The next connection up is the outside of the hood range that lets the smoke come from the inside of the trailer to the out. For it to work properly, the 2 tabs have to be lifted down on the sides, allows the flapper to flap, but you'll want to push them back up in travel so that it don't sit there and flap till it breaks out. The next connection up is the outside of the refrigerator. Since it is in the slide room, it has to have 2 breathing holes, one at the top and one at the bottom, so that the cold air can come in through the bottom and circulate up the back of it to cause it to heat up and cool down on the inside. We also have the 3rd jack in the center on both sides. Another black hole over here that will manually crank the main slide room in or out for any reason it won't go on its own. We do have the 2 outside speakers. I'll have to show you more about the speakers when we get to the inside. But there is a place for the TV to come out, slides in the bracket on the outside, plugs into the park cable hookup or antenna hookup on top of the trailer, and a 110 plug-in to plug it into. Right in front of that is the black tank flush, so that when you're dumping your black holding tank, once all the nasty debris and stuff is in from the inside out, you can hook a water hose and regulator on this side over here and help finish flushing out the black tank only. Right up underneath the fender skirt on this side, there is the 2 low water drain points. The red is the hot side of the water system, the blue is the cold. And just up underneath the fender skirt here. One more switch runs the front jacks up or down manually. Now there is a remote on the inside that does that too. It runs both jacks, runs your slide rooms in and out, and will also run the awning in and out. The 3 handles is the little S-colored handle is for the front tongue jack. The slotted one is for the rooms to run them in and out, and it also will do the level or balancing jacks front and back. The 3/4 inch handle does the 2 jacks in the center of the trailer manually. There is a light switch in the front compartment for the light for the compartment, and there is also a light switch that turns your 2 LED lights on the front of the trailer on. We'll go ahead and we'll turn that black switch back off, and we'll turn that compartment light off. Now we're going to go to the inside of the trailer. The steps pull out from the inside out, just fold out. Once we go open the door, we're going to come to the inside. We do have a new fire extinguisher on the left-hand side of the door as we come in. We do have the breaker box on the right-hand side with your 30 amp main being your top one. Your microwave, GFI, AC, hot water heater, refrigerator, and converter on the breakers. Car fuses on this side over here, the top one's empty. The next 4 down are lights, refrigerator, furnace, pump, and LP detector, and one more spot down at the bottom that's empty. On the car fuses, there is a spot on the right hand side that if the fuse is blowed, it'll have a little red light that you can also see through the tinted glass on the front of the cover. We're going to come into the monitor panel. Checking our battery level shows you the battery's fully charged. Freshwater tank is down to 1/3 of a tank. Black tank is empty. Gray tank is empty. Gray tank 2, which is your kitchen sink water, is empty. First red switch turns your water pump on between the freshwater tank and the faucets. The second red button turns your gas side of the hot water heater on. The little red light indicator light's going to come on. It's going to stay on for about a minute. the little red light goes off, then the hot water heater will go through 2 lighting processes to light on gas. For any reason it does not light, that little red light will come back on. First light switch here turns your LED lights on the awning. Second one turns our center row of lights in the living room area. We're going to go ahead and run that awning out. I don't know how far I can get that out with that room out. We'll run it out as far as we can. Did get a new canvas on the awning.
It looks nice.
On the awning, there is 2 pinch points. One on each one of the arms that you can pull down against to put the pitch of the rain coming off this corner here. Same way with the back arm, you can pull on it. It puts the pitch of the rain going to the off door side of it. Before either one of them gets slid back up, they need to be pushed back up into the straight position so that when the awning comes in, it lays down inside the cradles. On your awning out here, though, you do have a fuse of a length. For any reason it won't go on its own or close up or open up, I would check that fusible link right there first. Now we're going to go back to the inside. We're going to go ahead and run the awning back in, which is pretty easy. It's just a push of a button. If I'm not underneath the awning using it, I always put it up to keep the wind from catching it and ripping it off. It's a little slower coming back in than it is going out. Now we're going to go ahead and run this main slide room out. On this slide room, there is a door in the back that you have to kind of watch. Make sure the door doesn't come ajar. You always want to make sure that nobody's got a vehicle or a tree on that side as you run it out. Then we're going to run the bunk room out, which I'm going to open the door so I can actually see it going out. And it's the first switch to the center of the aisle. Now the slide room in the back, it does have the 2 drawers and 1 cabinet at the bottom on the back that has to stay closed before you can run them out. And then we have the door side slide. I did put a little lube on all the rams on the slide rooms. The seals on the side and wipers could still use a little clear silicone spray on them to make them flip back and forth a little easier. We got one more monitor down here at the bottom that monitors the outside kitchenette, the water level in it. We do have a working carbon monoxide detector and a 110 outlet on the side of the kitchen sink. We have the 2 sets of keys for the trailer. The purple key does the lock and deadbolt on the front of the door. The other key does the 751 key that does the outside compartments. So all the rest of the paperwork that I found in the trailer is in this little envelope right here. But we do have the remote that lets you do everything with the jacks and awning and slide rooms. We're going to hit OK. It's going to come up with the menu. Shows you an outside light, which is your LED lights on your awning. Slide 1 is your main slide room in the living room area. Slide 2 is your bunk room slide. And slide 3 is your door side slide. We're going to hit next. It's going to bring out for your awning, to run your awning in and out, your front stabilizer jacks and your rear stabilizer jacks. We're going to hit on the button for the rear stabilizer jacks. It does have an up and down arrow so that you can run them. When you want to go back to your menu, hit the button down at the bottom. It brings you back and you can do your front jacks and your awning from there. Go back to previous. You got your 3 slide rooms and your LED lights on the awning. And then you have your on and off button. There is a code. We're using the outside 4 numbers for that. The codes can be changed on it to any code that you want. It's always up to the customer how they want to do it, but we're using the 4 corner numbers is how we got into it. Microwave, there is a light underneath it for countertop space there, but your GFI outlet is underneath the microwave. Microwave has a clock button on it. We're going to hit the clock button, set the time on the clock. Hit the button in the center. Let's say it's 1:30. Let's say it's 11 o'clock. Hit the clock button again. The only reason I set the time on the microwave is I can tell if the trailer's lost 110 power coming to it when I come into it if it doesn't happen the proper time. There's a light for the stovetop and a fan. For the fans for the stovetop to work properly, the tabs on the outside have to be lifted up, allows the flapper to flap. Then you have your glass stovetop that lifts up 2 times up out of the way. Turn the burner to the light position using the striker on the left hand side to light all 3 burners up on top. And on your oven, you still have to turn it to the pilot on position and light with a long lighter or match down underneath. Before you lay the glass stovetop back down, make sure the griddle is cold to the touch of the hand. It does have quite a bit of cabinet space off to the side of the stove, top and bottom. We're going to step right around the corner here. The lights in the bunkroom area all have to be turned on by hand. There is a 110 outlet down by the vacuum. There is an onboard vacuuming system with a button on the right hand side to turn it on. All the utensils for the vacuum are in the drawer underneath the off-door side bed. Ladder pulls out for access up to the top bunk. Folds up, goes back inside of itself. There is a place here for a TV. Works off the power booster, antenna on top of the trailer, and the park cable hookup and a 110 plug-in to plug it into. In behind the compartment door here, drawer, is where your water pump's located at, and the back of the hot water heater. There's 2 white valves on the back of the hot water heater that have to be turned in line with the tank for it to have water filling into it. There is no bypass on the water pump. If you're going to winterize through the water pump, you have to have a hose added to it to suck the antifreeze through the water pump and filter on the trailer through the whole system. All the lights in the bunkroom area have to be turned on by hand. There's no light switch, but you also have a fire escape window in the very back. Lift up on the 2 red tabs, the window rolls out so the kids can escape through the back of it. On the bunks on this side over here, the top one is mounted to the side of the wall. It folds down. The bottom couch butterflies out into a bed, and then you have your top bunk on this side over here. It does have a light for the top bunk on this side that has to be turned on by hand. Pretty good sized storage space underneath the couch at the back there. Another light switch on the wall that turns the light above the table on. The light above the couch has to be turned on by hand. And the Viscons light on the outside wall has a little push button over here on this side that lights it up. Come back to the thermostat. We're going to turn it off. When you turn it on, it gives you your fan speed, auto, high, and low. You always run around the appliances in the auto position. One more touch of the main mode button brings you down to the AC. You'll dial your temperature down for it. Hit that mode button one more time till it says furnace. You'll dial your temperature up. Hit it one more time till it comes down to where it says on and off, and it will shut itself off. We're going to go right back to the cool side and let the air conditioner run. There is pretty good size storage underneath each one of the bench seats for the dinette table. The dinette table has 2 legs underneath it that goes into the pedestals on the floor that goes to the pedestals up underneath the table. The table has to be in the down position for travel, because once the slide room comes in, the table has to go underneath the sink instead of right in the middle of it. Do have pretty good size storage up above it. Light above the couch has to be turned in by hand. Couch, the 2 back cushions come off. The couch will butterfly out into a bed. Does not have the air mattress with the couch anymore. for some reason the air mattress was missing. I always suggest putting either a 4 or 6 inch piece of memory foam over the top of it and using that for your mattress on the couch. Bathroom area does have a TV on the master bedroom that hooks to this TV mount. Hooks to that. Does hook up the S cords to the back of the TV. The stereo will play a DVD between the stereo and TV. There is a 110 plug-in to plug it into, and then you have your coax for your TV antenna. Light switch on the wall that turns the lights above us on. Does have a knurl knob in the vent in the bathroom. It cranks up. Little black button turns the little fan on. If I can find it. Single foot flush on the right hand side of the toilet. Push halfway down, fills with water. Push all the way down, fills and dumps. Showers just like you have at home. It has hot water on the left side, cold water on the right side. It did have an upgraded shower head put on it. Does have pretty good sized storage underneath the bathroom sink. And pretty good cabinet space above it. Now we'll go into the bedroom area. In the bedroom area, all the lights in this room have to be turned on by hand. They all have a little push button. We do have a 110 outlet on either side of the bed at the headboard. The 2 lights above the headboard have to be turned on by hand. We do have a carbon monoxide detector in the master bedroom. We also have a fire escape window in the master bedroom. There is another place for a TV here. Works off the park antenna or cable on top, and a 110 outlet to plug it into. 2 remotes for the TV. There's a remote there and a remote for the stereo. And we do have access up underneath the bed for more storage. That is basically everything on your trailer. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them the best that I can. The round vents in the ceiling bring the AC into there. The round vents in the floor bring the heat into the master bedroom area. And thank you for your time.